Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Lee Henson here, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand Up. So, without any further ado, let's get started. It's Friday. We've made it through another amazing week. Things have been so good lately. Life's been good, family's been good. Everything has just been rolling along, and I want to thank you all for being part of the journey. Now, last Friday, we discussed my son and those moments in time where all the world stops just for that moment so that you can embrace or so that you can see something that's happening so you can have your aha moment and really make a connection. And we talked about how there's only a handful of those that happen in your life. And since I made that podcast episode, I've gotten a number of emails from people asking me to share other moments like that. And some of those are very intimate and personal, but I will share one more with you. And I hope that you'll enjoy this and it'll tie in to something that'll help uplift you and make you a better person, and something that'll allow you to share your talents and gifts with others. So here we go. So I remember it was a few years ago, our family took a trip to Europe, and we specifically had an opportunity to visit Italy. Now, in Italy, we wanted to do one of the things that most typical tourists don't want to do. We wanted to walk into the inner city and just kind of stop in little shops and get a feel for what Italy was really like. We weren't necessarily interested, while we were interested in hitting the touristy places, we didn't want that to consume our trip. We wanted to feel the richness of the people who were true, pure Italian. And we wanted to kind of immerse ourselves in that experience. And we had an opportunity to walk through several streets. And we came to an area where they had like a square, and it was a town square. And I remember because they had a little shop on a corner that sold bottled water for very cheap, which I was very pleased with. But they also had, an area that was wide open with a fountain, and it was beautiful. And they had benches lining the outside. But in the center, they had a group of children, and a group of children were playing football. They were playing soccer. And my daughter, being as brave as she is, she says, "Dad, she says, can I go play with him?" She played soccer in the US for a team. She said, "I want to go play with him." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Go for it." And we took a break and kind of sat down and we watched her do her thing. And she tried so hard to communicate with these children. And none of them really understood English very well. And she came back over crying. And I said, "What's wrong, Kate?" And she says, "They don't understand me." And I said, "Well, that's because you're trying to use your mouth to speak instead of using body language." I said, "Try going out there one more time and let them know how you feel. But instead of trying to articulate everything using words, try to be expressive and emotive and show emotion and show them how much you want to be part of their group and how much you want to be their friend." And let me tell you, this was another one of those moments where time stopped for me. When I got to see my daughter get out there so excited, and the other kids start to involve her and realize that she was different, and they took her in, and they made her key part of the team, and they were playing so nice together. And as soon as that game ended, they went on to play in the fountain and splash each other with water. It was a hot day. But what was so beautiful was to see how she couldn't communicate a single word with these children. But when it was time for us to move on and leave, these children begged us to stay. And they hugged her. In the best English they could, they told her how much they loved her. Now she's about to celebrate a milestone birthday. She's about to celebrate her 13th birthday. And I just love her so dearly because she made it possible for me to have another one of these moments. It's a moment where nothing else mattered. And she was able to express who she was. And as a result, it made everyone around her want to be her friend and want to be part of, even if they couldn't even speak a word to each other, they still built a friendship that was just so cool. It was just so neat to see. One of them ran over to their parents and borrowed a phone and tried to use a translator to talk to her on a phone just so that they could have a conversation. And it was just the warmth that I felt has never gone away. Another time where I felt that same warmth was a story that I read. And it was a story of a gentleman. Now, this guy was in his 20s. He was probably 24, 25, but he was special needs. He was autistic. And a very similar story. He saw some children playing outside, and his mental capacity was that of a child, and he wanted to go play with the kids outside. And it was very difficult for him because in the park where he was going to play, there were a lot of parents who wanted to judge him just based on his physical appearance and his age. It looked like he had no place to play with the children. Some were concerned that he might try to abuse their children or take advantage of them in some way. And it was just, you could see his emotional parachute, his emotional balloon just ran out of air. And it was awful. It was so hard to watch because people didn't understand from the outside. But then something really cool happened. One of the kids on the inside did recognize and said, "Hey, how about we include this guy?" And it got him involved, and it got him playing with the group. And then quickly parents started to realize that this gentleman was high functioning autistic, and that there was absolutely nothing wrong. It was pure innocence and love and joy that they had an opportunity to share with him. And I think sometimes we don't look at the world as a place of joy, love, and innocence anymore because we've been taken advantage of, or we've been trampled on, or our liberties and our freedoms may have been attacked, or we feel like they are, at least. And it's one of these things where if we could be as a child and we could see the world through a set of lenses that haven't been corrupted or tainted, it's going to help us to be a better person and to uplift others. And that's what Fridays are all about here on a podcast. It's about trying to find ways to see the world through the lens of that child, to see the world through the lens of that special needs gentleman who was having the time of his life playing with these kids. And the kids were having a time of their life also. And it got to the point where they wanted to invite him to come back to the park a different day to play again. And it was just so awesome to see how they didn't judge him based on his age or based on his special need or based on anything. They just wanted him to be part of their group. And it was just so cool to see how they could include someone, even someone who wasn't exactly like them. And I think that with all the things that are happening in the world today, if I could share a message of hope, that message would be that I hope each of you can embrace others and love them based on their talents and gifts and their spiritual empathy and their strength and their light and their energy and their love. And I hope that you can see the goodness in people and that you can draw on that goodness and that you can fill your account so then you can go about sharing that love with others. I promise to keep it short and sweet today. So as always, we encourage you to stay tuned for more breathtaking episodes. We've got the Agile Expert series. Again, this Monday, we've got another Agile expert coming your way that's going to share their talents and their wisdom so that they can help you grow. But for now, I hope you have an amazing weekend. Hold on to those you love. And as always, stay well, stay healthy, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.